You guys really enjoyed me showcasing some annoying things racing games had in the past, so today I wanted to showcase a few more examples of weird and questionable additions that developers made in the past. I mentioned in the previous video, but this is all just for entertainment purposes, so don't take what I say too seriously. In Max Power Racing or C3 Racing, some tracks have unique physics, which can lead to you getting undertaken by an opponent.
Nice.
In Asphalt Legends, the takedown system can be pretty wonky. You could do a lot of 360s, use shockwaves, land on top of the other players, and still not have done anything to them. But the moment they give your car a little kiss, you get annihilated. One thing that is slightly annoying is the requirements to unlock a car in Dakar Desert Rally. You have to drive the championship 5 times to unlock the vehicle, which means that you have to drive the stage with a Dakar truck, car, bike, quad, and an SSV. And the stages are a bit over 200 kilometers sometimes. Underground 2 unlocks cars after completing URLs, but the game's progress is heavily tied towards them. You can have your favorite car locked right until the end of the game and unlock it only to drive for 3 races. On the contrary, you unlock all cars at Blacklist 2 or even 3 in Most Wanted, so you can enjoy driving OP cars for pretty long before the game ends. Underground 2 is also bugged on the PS2, so you can't reach 100%. I haven't tested this myself, but Underground 2 on PC also requires certain conditions to reach 100%. If you choose the wrong sponsors, you might lock yourself out of it. Even if it's a bug, that is a bit annoying because you have to play the game in a certain way to achieve it. Next are single player games that we used to love being infected by online only slop. Thankfully, the Stop Killing Games movement pushed developers to actually make an offline mode for their games. However, in the case of The Crew 2 with its hybrid mode, while it is playable offline, you still have kernel level anti-cheat running in the background with it. Also, a lot of the features in the online mode aren't available offline. You cannot make any new liveries, you cannot use the race creator, you cannot buy vanity items. You can, however, buy the season pass cars, though it will require a bit of grinding to obtain them. In the new EAWRC game, there are events called Regularity Rally, where you need to drive a certain average speed and cross checkpoints at an exact time. It's not annoying per se, but probably the most boring event type you can make with rally cars.
The target average speed for this stage is 90 kilometers per hour. This pace is good, keep it up.
Need for Speed Carbon has a lot of reward cards. Online ones are impossible to get nowadays legitimately because the servers are down. Still, some of them you can say were very unlikely to get even when the servers were up. Like for example, the Moderator Challenge. You needed to beat a moderator in an online lobby. Sounds like a 1 in a million chance. The more time passed after launch of the game, the less the likelihood was of you meeting one. There are also a lot of reward cards that needed you to beat online ranked events of certain types up to 25 times, which gets really grindy. All of the offline cards are reachable, but some of them are very tedious to get because they are either extremely grindy, luck-based, or you just can't track them, or any combination of those things. You need to disable up to 50 cops in a single cop chase, which can lead to a long pursuit. You need to ram 100 cops in a single pursuit. The catch is, there is no way to track the progress of how many cops you rammed until you finish the pursuit. There's a screen that shows you the details afterwards. If you remember the infraction system from Most Wanted, certain infractions are given to you by ramming cops, traffic, driving off the road, speeding, escaping, etc. Same system exists in Carbon, but they never tell you that you earned those infractions in any way. So if you don't know what those infractions are, you're kinda screwed, since the first one needs you to earn 6 infractions in a single pursuit, while detection of those infractions is already sketchy, and the last 2 require you to earn fines from doing those infractions, which also can't be tracked. You need to earn up to 1 million of cash in career mode, unless you use certain cars like the 240SX, which requires you to play challenge series, or the boss's vehicles, which are luck-based, and then maximize your income with crewmates that give you more money like Samson and Neville. You're pretty much out of luck, unless you want to grind races that give you $500 in cash. For example, a run with a fully upgraded 240SX will leave you with around 1,075,000 cash at the end of the career. Arcade level 1 to 4, you need to play around 50 quick races. You have ways to track how many times you played every event, but those also get added up from career career, and the menus don't give you summary, only info on each event done, so tracking these reward cards is super unreliable and they are grindy in themselves. There's one where you have to win up to 20 defensive races. It's pretty much up to RNG if you can get 20 defensive races during your first playthrough. If you don't, you have to trigger the game over screen by selling all of your cars except one and then getting it impounded, which is quite a tedious workaround. Another one requires you to win up to 50 free roam challenges. Some people might not know that the feature exists in the first place because you barely drive in the free roam due to fast traveling. Driving in snowy conditions in Project Cars 3. There's one career event that has you driving in a blizzard, and even at the easiest difficulty, it's still near impossible to even beat purely because you have no all-wheel drive car to use for the corresponding car requirements. You don't earn any money directly from winning races. Instead, earning experience points gives you a flat number of cash that scales as you level up. However, later levels slow down the scaling and cars get expensive later on, requiring you to grind a ton of XP, which can only be best done through a money glitch. You can modify nearly any road car into a racing modified one, similar to how you do it in the Gran Turismo games. However, unlike those games, applying the modification completely removes all previously applied upgrades, and since you can just buy these from the dealership as well, the conversion to race car is pretty much useless. And on the topic of upgrades, you can earn discounts through a loyalty system, similar to games like Forza Motorsport 4. However, instead of being per brand, they work per car, even distinguishing between road and race modified versions, making the racing conversion even more useless. The system itself also barely gives any discounts, and last but definitely not least, physics-wise, when braking, the game artificially exaggerates weight transfer, shifting your center of mass way more forward than it should. This not only creates some very awkward physics moments, but this somehow also works in mid-air, creating some hilarious physics exploits.
Open like Eden's clip again to see where he did it. Oh! Whoa! Yes! Let's go!
Midnight Club 3 has a hidden difficulty tracker that goes up every time you win a race, and when you lose it goes back down, which in the late game portions can be annoying to deal with, especially because with higher difficulty, more traffic will spawn on the roads, which 9 out of 10 times you will ram into once or twice. Only way to reduce it is to fully finish an event even if you lose, and then click restart and you will have easier opponents to deal with. Gran Turismo 4 giving funny cars for tough objectives, like securing golds in all the super license tests. In Motorstorm Apocalypse, most of the customization and vehicles are locked behind doing online multiplayer, which is unavailable now. In F1 2017, instead of being optional, you're forced to do the classical car invitationals, which are annoying as hell and needed for you to unlock a set of driver perks. Now, the problem is that in 2018, this issue was rectified by adding the contract negotiations, in which despite making the game better in many ways, it did take away the presence of the classical cars in the career mode, since they grant no bonus and can be skipped. Forza Horizon 5's way of forcing you to play the game by only adding new cars via festival playlists. So if you don't feel like playing the game for a bit, you're going to miss out on a lot of cars, and have to hope someone is selling the car in the auction house, where it gets sold for a ridiculous amount. In Dirt Showdown, there's an achievement where you have to earn $1 million in total. However, you only get 980k upon completing all the events in the career. The only way to earn more money is by playing the online multiplayer, and given how few people play this game, it might be impossible to reach. Knockout events in old racing games. In some it isn't that bad having only a few opponents. In other games, however, you can have up to 7 in total, making the event drag out way longer than it should. In some games, the AI opponents will follow a strict line that the game won't let them deviate from. This ends up causing them to just barrel through you if you happen to be on that line, spinning you out or shoving you off course. But if you ever bump into them in a race, they don't even budge. And that is some of the extra things that I was able to find, though I'm pretty sure there's still things that I probably missed, so if I did, feel free to mention them in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.